Over the past decade, I don't think that there has been a footballer that has divided opinions as much as Jack Grealish, a controversial player who many fans love and adore and want him to succeed. And on the other side of the coin, many fans feel as though his career has been inconsistent and not lived up to his full potential. Now, one of the earliest memories that I have from Jack Grealish's career comes from the 2019 Second City Derby in the Championship where Aston Villa faced Birmingham. A fan rushed onto the pitch and punched Jack Grealish from behind and then was obviously escorted from the grounds. Later in that game, Jack Grealish scored the winner, beating Birmingham 1-0. Now for me, when I saw this, guys, I gotta be honest, what came to mind was, this guy is absolutely electric. I mean, the thought that a fan literally rushed the pitch and punched a player in the side of his head, that same player then going on to score the winner against their biggest rival, it was absolutely scenes. Now, following this season, Aston Villa were obviously promoted to the Premier League, and that's where the real buzz around Jack Grealish began, where many teams were very, very interested in potentially signing Jack Grealish. And ultimately, the team that signed him was Manchester City for a reported £100 million transfer, which broke the British transfer record. And now, a lot of fans obviously felt that this was way too much money for a player of Grealish's caliber, and there began the criticism around Jack Grealish. And I'll be honest, I think that this is a big issue in football. The transfer fees are between club to club. A player never values themselves. It's an agreed upon price that one club decides they're going to play another club based on the valuation that both of the clubs agree upon. So Jack Grealish never said that he thought he was a £100 million player. Aston Villa valued at him, and Manchester City were willing to pay that price. But nevertheless, the criticism around Grealish at Manchester City is not solely down to the price tag that City paid for him. It comes down to his career that he had at City. And ultimately, I think it's been very inconsistent. The best season that Jack Grealish had, in my personal opinion, was the treble winning season. And you could say he stepped up in a season where Manchester City needed him the most. His partnership with Erling Haaland that year was emphatic, and in my opinion, he was very, very good. Was he a £100 million player? Probably not, but nobody can tell me that he didn't play a major role in that season. And following the treble-winning season, immediately after came one of the most iconic moments from Grealish, and that is the celebrations following the treble. And everyone loved Jack Grealish's celebrations. The guy must have drank probably 30 beers a day over a 3 to 4 day span, and the guy was celebrating like how most fans would expect they would celebrate if they were to win a treble. Now, modern footballers today are very robotic. They don't party, they don't have fun, they're very robotic in their professionalism, their diet, all of these things that make a modern professional footballer. But Jack Grealish seemed like a normal guy. Jack Grealish seemed like the guys who are down the pub celebrating after they're watching their team win a treble. So it made him really relatable. And the overall consensus was that this was awesome and everyone loved Jack Grealish doing this. Everyone, that is, except for what would appear one man. Now, it's important for me to clarify that I'm not 100% sure that Pep Guardiola had an issue with Jack Grealish's behavior during the celebrations following the treble. However, it's a consensus among many footballing fans that Guardiola appeared to have some sort of issue, and following that season would appear to be when Guardiola and Grealish's relationship took a bit of a turn. Following the treble-winning season, Jack Grealish seemed to not be involved in the Manchester City squad as much as he did previously. Now, part of this obviously was due to the fact that he did have several injuries in the seasons that followed, but also too, it was very clear there was a lack of confidence in Pep Guardiola for Jack Grealish's ability to contribute to the squad, which ultimately saw him have a dip in form and ultimately not even be given as much playing time as he previously had. And going into the 25-26 season, it's been announced that Jack Grealish will be joining Everton on loan, where hopefully for his sake, he can regain the form that we knew from his years at Aston Villa and the early years he had at Manchester City. Now, when it comes down to the opinions of Jack Grealish amongst mass football fans, in my opinion, I think it's very, very complicated. I think Jack Grealish is a very talented football player, and we've seen that when he's playing at his best. Unfortunately, I think he's gotten a lot of criticism due to his £100 million price tag when he went to Manchester City. But like I said previously, that's not really up to him. That's a transfer fee agreed between the two clubs, and he has no input on the valuation that these two clubs have put on him. However, I do think that there's been a lot of criticism from people saying that Jack Grealish was never up to the level of Manchester City. But I would disagree with that due simply down to his impact that he had in the treble winning season, where he was a very, very important player that year. Was he the most important player? No. But did he play an integral role? Absolutely. Now, the criticism that he's got from his drinking and his partying, personally, I think that's a little overblown as well. I think Jack Grealish at the end of a season that was historic celebrated like a lot of people would. Hell, he celebrated like probably I would if I played for Liverpool and we won a treble. But unfortunately, I do understand the other aspect where people feel as though that's not a professional way to behave. I'm not a professional footballer, so I would think that would be how I would behave. But that's not the reality that how professional football players should behave. And I think that came into consideration on the opinion that Pep Guardiola had over Jack Grealish. I think he's a very, very good player, and in many situations, like I mentioned, I think he can be relatable to a lot of football fans. He's a player that a lot of people want to see succeed. I don't want to see him succeed at Everton because I hate Everton, but he's a guy that I think has had a lot of potential, and many people feel he has not lived up to it. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know down below in the comments how you feel about the career of Jack Grealish. Has it been as up and down as many people have said it has been, or has this been a prediction that you could have seen how his career would go? Also, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell as well so you know every time I make a new video. Thank you all for your support, and I really, really appreciate it. Peace.